All right, Lord of the Rings games. There are
Many of them.
absolute gems like the Third Age, the Lego game, Gollum. No, sorry, I don't know how that got in there.
Ha!
Oh, okay. Okay. Even the incredible Middle-earth games are also in there. It's kind of crazy how it's been 7 years since the last one dropped. Warner Brothers, want to do something with that? You trademarked the Nemesis system and then never used it again. There's also that Lord of the Rings Conquest game that was basically Star Wars Battlefront with a Lord of the Rings skin. It was kind of underwhelming, but god damn, it was such a cool idea. But I don't think I've enjoyed a Lord of the Rings game more than Lord of the Rings The Two Towers. Lord of the Rings The Two Towers is a hack and slash released in 2002. 22 years ago. Oh my god. This is set around the first two movies, The Fellowship of the Ring and The Two Towers, and then the Return of the King game released just a year later with a different developer. If you want another video of that, let me know by smashing that like button. As I said, this game starts at The Fellowship of the Ring, letting you play as Isildur, defeating Sauron and obtaining the One Ring, all the way to then defending Helms Deep. You get to kill the troll in Balin's tomb, you go through Amon Hen, you go through Fangorn Forest, and even fight in Rohan. This game was so ahead of its time. This is easily one of my favorite games of the PS2 generation. Let's just get into the game, shall we? So as I said, in the first mission, it's a tutorial and you're playing as Isildur in Mordor. There's nothing really too much to say here. It's just a tutorial, the game teaching you how to play the game. On the second mission, you're now playing as Aragorn on top of the Weathertop, and you need to defend Frodo from the Nazgul. I just remember younger me who hadn't seen the movies yet, just struggling with what to do with this mission because, well, I just didn't know you had to set them on fire. Also, if you haven't noticed, Aragorn is basically a clone of Isildur, which, I mean, it does make sense considering who Aragorn is. But one very cool thing when you beat this game is you actually get to play as Isildur, which is kind of a nice touch. After setting every Nazgul on fire, Aragorn takes Frodo to Rivendell. Yeah, not exactly how it happened in the film, but to be fair, Galadriel isn't even in this game, so I'm just going to pretend Aragorn dragged Frodo to Rivendell. And now we learn that the One Ring must be destroyed, and Frodo will be the one to take it, with the Fellowship escorting him, minus Sam, Merry, and Pippin. Poor guys. At least they're in the next game, though. And now for one of my favorite things from this game with the cutscenes, and that's the transitions from the movies to the games. I really thought they would have aged horrendously, considering it's 22 years ago, but they're still just one of the biggest highlights of this game, to be honest.
This transition is just... Mwah. Like,
Show it! Can't show much too much copyright. Look at that, bro. It's just, oh. And now for the big decision, and that is, who will we play as in this game? We have a choice of Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli, and I'm picking Legolas. Now for the path to Moria. The Fellowship stays behind, while Legolas and Gimli...
I shall scout ahead to find a route through.
Yeah, let's do it. Now for combat. So now you actually get a full taste of the combat. That's not the tutorial. It's pretty basic, I'm not gonna lie. You have a light and heavy attack. You also have a kick, which you lose a lot later. You have a parry, and you have a ground stab. And then, of course, you have a projectile. For Aragorn and Legolas, of course, it's a bow and arrow. And for Gimli, it's hatchets. And even for a 22-year-old game, this game has some just little details that I love.
his bow just starts, like, he himself just starts vibrating at the pressure. Like, I don't know why. It's just, like, the little details like that. I just adore.
After going through the path of Moria, we then have to deal with the Watcher in the water.
Creature.
Yeah, he says creature. No other character actually says anything. It's really bizarre. One more. And then we can get on to some good old OG original classic. Deal with Balin, shall we?
Alright, after beating every mission, you then get to look at some upgrades you can make in the game. You can buy combos, finishing moves, health upgrades, projectile upgrades. Of course, Legolas's bow just becomes absolutely ridiculous. I think each character has like a big upgrade, and Legolas's big upgrade is his bow and arrow, and I think Aragorn's is he does extra damage with his sword. And now it's time for Balin's Tomb, easily one of my favorite missions in this game. It's just so chaotic. Like, missions where there's just enemies everywhere in like one condensed area are just so fun in this game. There's just goblins everywhere, and this is where I remember the best combo in this game, and that's using the light heavy combo to achieve the perfect rating. and then just unload Legolas's bow and arrow to get all the perfect kills. All right, now time for the troll. This guy is so intimidating the first time you fight him until you realize you could just do this. Also, I've rewatched this many times while editing. You could just see Aragorn just get absolutely destroyed by the troll every single time he gets up. But after dealing enough damage, the troll smashes his club against the wall, and then he whips out his chain. So now we have to climb up to the wall and attack him from above. Now this is rather simple. You just hide behind this wall, wait for him to attack, pop out and shoot him with a couple arrows, go back behind the wall, wait for him to attack again, and then unload some arrows into him until he dies. After beating that mission, we make some upgrades to our health, and now it's time for probably my favorite mission in the game, next to the Helms Deep ones, and of course Amon Hen. Now, this mission I absolutely love. You have to kill a certain amount of Uruk-hai before Frodo gets captured. And I especially love this starting area where all three of you are attacking the enemy at once, because it reminds me so much of the movie. I love it. Eventually, you do get separated from the group because, of course, you do. You get separated from the group a lot in this game. So now you just need to make your way through the level, killing everything in your path. You can even hear the Horn of Gondor throughout the mission that Boromir is using to draw the Uruk-hai towards him. Ow. You can just hear the Horn of Gondor as well. After killing a certain amount of enemies, Aragorn uses his bow, because of course he does, to take down two Uruk-hai that are chasing Frodo. Aragorn uses his bow quite a bit in this game, which is funny because I'm pretty sure he only uses a bow like once in the entire trilogy, which was of course in Balin's tomb. But in this game, every cutscene like involving a projectile, it's just so funny seeing Aragorn just shoot with his bow and arrow. Does this look like something Aragorn would ever do? Taking these quick shots with a bow and arrow from this close of range, even doing step backs. You'd think they would have done a different animation of him attacking with his sword, since Aragorn firing a bow at this speed just isn't Aragorn. When Legolas does this in cutscenes, of course it makes sense because, well, it's Legolas. A bow and arrow is kind of his thing. But enough about my animation ranting. Now that Frodo has been rescued, we need to go rescue Boromir. But we all know how that turned out. But now we have to take down Lurtz.
Back to the pits that spawned you.
Gonna fight Lurtz.
His fight can be a little annoying. You have to get him to swing near these statues until he gets stuck. And then you just wail into it. Nope.
This is a little concerning.
Oh, that was close. Now on to this next mission, which is Fangorn Forest. I don't know what it is with this mission. It just gave me just so much anxiety. I mean, it is Fangorn Forest, of course, but especially when I was younger, I just really didn't like this mission, especially playing as Legolas, because Legolas in this game just isn't that great at dealing with shield enemies. And shield enemies you see a lot in this mission.
Oh my freaking god. Allow me to break your shield.
Taking down these shield enemies can be so annoying just because Legolas is so weak against them. On top of that, this is your first encounter with these beefed up Uruk-hai, and they just love to parry you. And they're such a pain in this game. No. Oh no, what are these boys? Okay. Why do I remember it being a lot harder? Also, you have to fight trolls again.
Hey, bro. Or this. I remember this strategy working rather well.
This mission just throws a lot at you. This is probably like the big difficulty spike in this game. There's a few difficulty spikes. There's this one. There's Rohan a little bit. And then, of course, Helms Deep. Progressing through the mission, we find this little Easter egg that I will always appreciate this Easter egg. It's just so cool.
It's cool to see an Ent like reflection in the water. That's actually quite sick.
Eventually, we get to this final area, and we have to take down these two trolls before we can eventually leave. And we meet up with Aragorn and Gimli. And then, of course, meet up with Gandalf. Now on to Rohan. Now, this mission is just so gorgeous. I know this game, again, came out 22 years ago, but this game still just looks so pretty and so beautiful to look at. Bro, even Elijah Wood agrees, which I just find hilarious.
And it's unbelievable. It's just beautiful to look at.
Now in this mission, we need to save all the women and children that we can. Uruk-hai will attack them, and if they kill enough of them in this mission, the mission will actually fail. Eventually, we come into this battle, and the Uruk-hai actually trap these women in the burning building, and we have to help them escape. Now, I have no idea what happens here, but everything is looking normal and fine, and I'm just killing enemies. Then randomly, the timer just jumps straight to 0, as well as the health bar, and we fail the mission because of this. And I have absolutely no idea why.
Wait, what? Just happened.
So we get back to that area because one thing this game is very infamous for is there are no checkpoints in any of the missions. So if you die, you are straight back at the start of the mission.
Oh, I remember no checkpoints in these games.
So once we get back, we very quickly rush over to that burning building and free the women. And then we take down all the Uruk-hai and we beat the mission. Next mission, we're now with Theoden, and explosives have been placed all over the area, and we need to destroy them. This mission is just really bizarre. It's a bit of a level padding mission, but I think it's fine. It's not too much to speak on here, unfortunately. As soon as you get to the end of this mission, you can shoot the final explosive from quite a distance and beat the mission. Again, it's kind of meh, to be honest.
And mission over. Just like that.
And speaking of meh and filler missions and terrible missions, I mean, it's not really filler, since it did happen in the movie, but God, the mission where you have to take down the wolves of Isengard. As much as I love this game, this mission is just so bad. The three of you have to take care of this first wave. It's nothing too crazy, but then of course, in typical game fashion, you get separated from Aragorn and Gimli, because of course they couldn't just walk around this structure. And now for the most boring section of this game, you sit in this water, waiting for this wolf to stand up on his 2 legs. You rush up, attack him, and then repeat for, I checked, this took me 5 minutes of doing this strategy. This mission is so bad. Let's just move on.
Your people would
God, that was horrible.
As bad as that last mission is, we're now on to the most iconic missions in this game, and that is the Helms Deep trio, of course, starting with the Deeping Wall.
God, I love this mission so much when I was younger. It's so difficult, but I love it.
Now, the start of this mission is quite strange, since the mission starts with goblins, and if you know any of the source material, goblins are nowhere near this fight. You're fighting Uruk-hai, but I mean, I get it. You gotta have some progression in the mission. This mission changes so much. First, it's archers shooting at the wall, then catapults are getting launched at the wall. The enemy progression is crazy because you start with goblins and then eventually to Uruk-hai. All your objective is just to defend the wall. You kick down these ladders before the wall gets overrun. There are elves in this mission on the wall as well, but to be honest, they just get in the way, and the longer the mission goes, the better, because, well, the elves just, well, they get killed, to be honest. This mission is just absolute chaos, and I love it so much.
Oh, is that it? Oh, okay.
I remember that being a lot more. On to the next mission. This is easily the worst of the Helm's Deep trio. The kill count for this mission just gets absolutely ridiculous. It's just wave after wave after wave of enemies trying to attack at this door that we have to defend. From these guys that just suicide charge you and just try and blow up the door, to then these shield guys.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. No! Yeah, blow up!
So then eventually Uruk-hai, to even freaking trolls. It just gets ridiculous. Eventually, this catapult does get wheeled out, and then your final objective is just to take it down.
Okay. This will just have to do, I guess. Oh boy, that could have been rough. These missions are a lot shorter than I remember. Look at Aragorn! using the bow like he always does.
Now on to the final mission, and that is the courtyard. This mission is absolutely crazy, and I love it. I sometimes just like to replay this mission all over again just for how chaotic this mission gets. All the mission is there's a massive gate, and you have to defend it. One of my favorite things to do in this mission is just unload Legolas's bow into just the sea of enemies. It's just so much fun. Eventually, Aragorn, as I said, does need some assistance, and again, he just looks so silly. Aragorn, just use your sword, bro. So we have to go up and help him, and now Gimli is gonna need some help.
A little help, you elf!
It gets to the point where it's literally just us three defending the gate against everything. It reminds me of the movie when Aragorn and Gimli are just defending the bridge. Like, it's so bad. It's us three defending against souped-up Uruk-hai that are on Gen V to freaking trolls. To my knowledge, trolls weren't even in this battle. But why not? Just throw some trolls in there as well. Once you beat the trolls, you beat the mission. That's why I was so tryharding here, even with no health. I didn't even notice I didn't have barely any health here. I was just so focused on taking these trolls down until... And of course, no checkpoints. So let's do that all over again.
Oh, right back at the start.
We come back to the trolls, and it turns out I found the best strategy to take these trolls down.
The perfect strat.
Get the perfect combo, and then just wail into them. And that is Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, released in 2002. Still to this day, an absolutely fantastic game that I love so much. If you want to see me talk about the game that preceded Red Dead Redemption, Red Dead Revolver, then click on screen.